Let's just get right into it, guys. Why don't you tell me about what this, what's internally known as multi-tenancy is, and what this means for our consumers, this new feature that we have.
Yeah, so what we call internally multi-tenancy, we're calling multi-user account management for users. So it's basically the ability for you to have multiple users on one account. We want every user to be able to invite their friends and family, the people that they're sharing connectivity with, or activating lines for on their account, to have their own, presence on US Mobile, have their own US Mobile experience.
Each person gets their own unique login.
Exactly. We give you your own unique login. We want you to have your particular credentials that let you into US Mobile, and also, give you the appropriate amount of access to the account.
Got it. Cool. Because the current, before this, just before this came out, it was one account kind of manages them all, right?
Exactly. So we were operating under the, one account, many lines model. You could basically have several people with their lines on one account, and only one person had access to managing all of those lines. So that's the paradigm shift that we brought in with multi-user management. We are enabling, we're allowing people to come in into an account and kind of serve their own needs.
Yeah. So what are those categories of needs that you guys have decided? And was there what's the consideration that went into that? How we have these different tiers of access?
We saw that we have multiple users with several lines in their account. So what that indicates to us is we have a large chunk of users, the end users that are, on US Mobile's network, that are, that have US Mobile as a part of their life, but are not really interacting with our platform. So they're not really getting the full US Mobile experience.
Right. They might just have a SIM card or eSIM in. Maybe they're Venmoing someone the bill.
Exactly. So, I've been in that place. I used to be on Verizon at one point, and I used to be the guy who used to send you the Venmo requests. And
yeah. How many times did you wind up still sitting there and you're unfulfilled requests?
Yeah, I don't really want to say. I don't know if my friends are watching this. They're probably, I don't know if they
Drop
are.
their ads right now.
Yeah, not everybody's very efficient with responding to your Venmo requests. All of that. That's all I'm gonna say. So it can get a bit annoying. So I've had that problem. I know several other people have that problem. You have you're one person managing lines for several people. So it's a kind of an annoying place to be in. We wanted to solve for that. We also saw a bunch of our business customers who have larger number of lines with us. They would struggle with building some workflows or giving accesses to their other employees that might be operating in the same business. And so we wanted to enable those folks as well. If you have several hundreds of lines, you should be able to add a few more people to your account to help you manage them.
Yeah.
And
right.
Under the previous paradigm where we had one credentials, one account, we were seeing a lot of these people password share, and that's just not safe enough. That's not secure. So we wanted to move away from that. We wanted to security is of paramount importance to us. We're a connectivity company. We know you have your OTPs attached to your phone. We know what your cell phone your phone number means in terms of your identity, your security. It's attached to all of those things. So we wanted to make sure we're catering to that, and multi-user account tenancy moves us a step closer to being the safest experience out there, which I believe we already are, but just a little bit more.
yeah, over the top for sure. So how do we take this idea and all these inspirations, all these things we want to set out to do, and form that into an actual concrete step-by-step plan?
We start with our customers. We want to validate that the problem's actually even there. And so we've had certain feedback from our customers that from businesses telling us that, hey, can I loop in HR somehow? They can help me manage these lines. Can the finance guy just go in and do the billing? So we had those requests come in every now and then. So we took that in. We heard some of the larger accounts in our retail segment, or the general segment, where there's 4 or 5 lines from a family on an account. Those people wanting some more to add more people to their accounts as well. So we had some of this feedback coming in passively. So we took that in. We're okay, let's actually validate this. Let's ask some more questions and see if there's an actual need. And so we go out there. We actually ran a survey at one point, asking customers who have multiple lines if they would be interested in adding another person to their account. The vast majority was actually like pretty interested. Like they were like, yeah, we're kind of annoyed. You know, those Venmo requests are stacking up.
Yeah.
I haven't been paid in 3 months.
Cool. And then like assembling the troops, getting the engineers ready to go. Like
that's the
what
next
does
step.
that look like?
So that was the next step. So cool. We have like, we have some validation. Customers are interested. We have come upon an actual problem that we're trying to solve. Then came like the more difficult part, getting buy-in. So we pretty quickly realized this was going to be a huge initiative, and I would let the engineers talk about that. And yeah, we very rapidly realized that this was going to be a very big change for us. So, but getting buy-in for that was definitely a process. So, just gathering that feedback, gathering that data, getting everybody's buy-in, showing it to like all the different stakeholders internally, how this affects their particular part of the business, how this truly provides value to our customers. We had to like rally everybody around that vision that this is something that's needed. This is something that's a problem for our customers that we need to solve. So that was basically the next step. And then I think we were right after that we were ready to get into the weeds of the infrastructure, the architecture, and that's where these brilliant gentlemen came in.
Yeah. Who wants to start? Like so Abdullah sends you a Slack message or maybe like brings you on a meeting. Like what does that conversation look like starting off? And what were your like initial priorities?
Yeah. Initially, the first thing I did was just look through the whole code base to understand like where are we using the field related to user, related to the account, like because we only have one table that has all the information related to the account, including the user. That's one object, one entity. So initially, first take a look at the table that has all the data regarding the account and the user. So we have some field like first name, last name, email, password, and some other building related information. So that's more related to the account than the actual person. So we decided that we have to split this into two different tables where one holds all the information related to the account, the other one holds all the user information. So then you can have multiple users within one account.
Okay, got it. So is the initial user that signs up becomes like the account name, and then every user subsequently are additional users under that account? Is that how that works?
Technically, when you first sign up, you're creating two entities. One is the account and one's the user.
Okay.
So you would be like the owner of the account. And then further down, you can add in more users into your account. So the account is the higher level, which has multiple users underneath. The problem is inside other tables where we have like 20, 30, that's referring to the ID, which is to the old table. And we have some table that's related to the account information, so those one remains as it is. But the ones like, for example, your security questions, your 2FA settings, those are related to the user and they're not related to the account. So we have to go through every single table that references it and decide, is this at account level, is this at user level, or is that both? So then we have to split that, and we have to modify those tables to include the user ID to make it tied to the user instead of the account. So we went through the code to identify all the areas we have to change across all the services that we have, and we went through every single database table to identify this field and see which one we need to change. So we went through the exercise like just identifying all the changes that needs to happen. So we made a diagram to just show which table, which field we have to change. We also use this tool called Datadog, which has like the live interaction between different services that we have in our backend. So it's like 40 or 50, and how the data flows from users' input all the way to our database. So using that tool, we're able to quickly identify how the data is flowing, which area our change will impact, how will the QA go and test the stuff.
Got it. I love this. I'm like learning math right now. So this is like really good brain exercise for me.
So we also made this dashboard from Datadog, which allows us to just see the live API calls that's happening. And so let's say we did a release and then we might have broken some things while going through this big change. So we can quickly notice that if we just did a release, we'll monitor this and see if it broke anything after the release to make sure everything is stable. if the login failed, if they failed to change the password, they failed to log out, all stuff like that, we can monitor it live here.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Oh,
Got it.
I can give you some idea like how we are doing the development. Basically, we do like first phase, we do local debugging. Basically, as a developer, we just like debug through what we develop, right? Make sure locally is working. Then we push to our like we call it partial environment, which is the first phase of testing. And when everything checks out by QA, then we push to staging. Right, staging is the next phase. Then the same pattern, like same check we need to do. Then finally we'll push to production. Right, this dashboard is basically dedicated to production environment, so we can see the live traffic. How it's going.
Got
basically.
it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So one thing that we uniquely did over here with multi-tenancy when we were coming close to the release, we had our feature flagged internal release go up first. So that makes the experience available only to users within US mobile. So we're dog fooding the experience before we release it to public. So we were able to find a bunch of kinks and flaws with the whole experience that we were able to quickly fix. And, we made sure that those never made it to the public. Yeah, that's one of the approaches that we uniquely used over here.
Right. Cool. So like, you want to add more? Yeah.
Another thing is we try to break it down into many, many small releases instead of like a big one. So it was easier to test for the QA and it was quick to release. So we don't have the codes go stale and then end up with a lot of merge conflict and get blocked by other stuff. So yeah, that's how we try to reduce the risk as well. If something goes wrong, we know very easily which part went wrong and we can identify the issue and fix it.
Yeah. From a user's perspective, what you may not see is that we're like, you may just see like one big release come out, like, this is the feature launch. Here's some news around it. Here's the posts around it. But like what we had been consistently releasing code over months or regarding this, it was going out in production one bit at a time. And that's how we were able to like, manage things. This is a huge change, and getting something like this out in one lump could be catastrophic. Would be very difficult to manage.
Yeah.
But that us breaking it down into much more smaller chunks and like seeing how they do in production, debugging them if there's anything anything flawed over there. It really helped us like manage things without causing any problems. And at the end of it went pretty smooth.
Nice.
We had no problems, and we actually fully released the code.
Fantastic. That's great. We might have already touched on this, but because this was such a massive undertaking, were there any large challenges that you faced during development that you'd be able to share, an obstacle that came up along the way?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Okay.
Where do we start?
Okay, so the first issue was initially during the investigation phase. Like we found out that because our data structure is designed this way, we have to change like 20, 30 tables. So that was like the 80-90% of the whole project was just the database changes and the code changes associated with that. It was not building out the new feature of like you inviting your friends to account. That was like 10% of the project.
There was also like weeks of discussion about approach. So we had to like drive consensus across all of the engineering team, not just the 2 or 3 developers are working on it. We had to make sure that this huge paradigm shift that is going to affect every developer and all future development efforts, it's being developed in a way that everybody is agreeable with. And so, that took some time too. There were some conflicting opinions, and we had to like really come down to like the option that worked for us in the future and in the present.
Right. And so like along the way, how did you guys collaborate? Are there tools that you use, like whether it's something like Notion or something across the company that you guys use to keep track of this all across multiple different people?
Oh, we also have some other challenges.
There's a lot of challenges.
We could go back to challenges.
You want me to go back to challenges? Constant's like, I got an itemized list for you. We got enough content for days. If you're going to talk challenges, we got you. All right, so here's the Ajira epic that we had going for this project. It's probably one of the largest epics I've ever seen or made. But yeah, there was quite a few tickets in there that we closed out over time, and each ticket like basically is a modular bit of code that we released. So this kind of brings me back to like us taking that modular approach where we're releasing a bit at a time, so we're not just putting the whole thing out there in one go. And generally just having every discrete bit of work documented separately really helps drive the team in that manner, where you can track progress on a more granular level instead of just waiting for the whole thing to get done in one.
What's your like hierarchical structure like for this? Are there tickets within tickets within tickets?
Oh yeah, there's some nesting over there. Yeah. So we definitely have we try to be as atomic as we can with tickets. That's generally the idea. You want to make sure your one bit of work is documented in one ticket, but tickets can have sub-tickets, and many of them do because of that. So and there's also different types. So you may have a ticket that may have that will have an associated testing related ticket with the test cases for QA and all. And you may come across some bugs along the way for things that you release, so you want to go back and fix those. Those get logged in separately. Yeah.
Any particular one you'd like to share that might speak to another challenge that you want to jump into?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think the search one. So we had the search for searching for the admin portal, like our internal support team that they use to search the user.
Right.
So that one initially was built off Elasticsearch. So that's the search engine that we're using, like external tool.
Okay.
And for the new one, that one was searching through the old one collection. So it was searching through account. It wasn't searching for users. But because we made a new table for users, we need a new search for users.
Right.
So then I decided to build a new one just for the search.
Got it.
So that assures us to get the most accurate data information.
Yeah, and that enables product support to service anybody, any customer, no matter whether you're like the account holding customer or the first one who joined.
Yeah, exactly.
It's completely seamless for them to look them up and find it.
The biggest reason we moved there is I wanted to make the search maintainable, and usually any other developer, if they want to add a new field they want to search by, stuff like that, they can easily go there and search it and just modify it, and they don't really have to change the code. They just modify it, and that's it. It's very quick.
Fantastic.
And easy to maintain.
Yeah, amazing.
We had some trouble though, using that tool, because it was a brand new tool for us, first time using it, had some learning curve, and then we fixed those small issues, had some feedback from the support team after using it, the sort is not acting the way we wanted to, so we made some changes to that, and I think now we're at the good spot.
Yeah, there was definitely some back and forth over there.
What are we going to do with you, Sean?
Yeah, I can also share one of the issue. So it's related to the JWT token. We released a feature, security related feature into prod, and since we want to make the this login flow kind of seamlessly to the user, and we didn't really have a way before invalidate the JWT token, because we are adding new fields to the JWT token. So this is since user still have the valid token and doesn't have the role in the token, so they are kind of doing actions on the in PWA or mobile client, and they are not able to do it because the JWT token doesn't have the role related stuff. So they are kind of what's going on? Why am I not able to do this or that? And then, there are a few customer reported the issue over the weekend. Then the PM has to let the engineer team know some customer are facing this problem. And then we have to get up early, then, invalidate all the JWT token, then, customer can log in and do the actions they wanted to do. So yeah, that's one of the issue we didn't really anticipate to happen.
Yeah, so if you woke up on a random Saturday morning and you were logged out, now you know why.
Now you know why. Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else security related that you could share about? Maybe a bit of an ironic question.
No, I have another thing. Actually, one of the first initial release we did was get rid of login through MDN. You can log in through your email and password, or you can log in through one of the line you have with us, the phone number, the 9-digit, and your password. And we removed that as one of the initial release because that is a security issue that your phone number might be known to your friend and your families. So they already know one of the two pieces. They just need to somehow crack your password. And it's also not compatible with the concept of multi-tenancy that the line, it doesn't belong to a single person. It belongs to the account, and many other person of the account can have access to it. But they need to have the unique login, so we got rid of that right away. After that, we also added the login with Google and Facebook, which makes your life easier. You don't have to remember your password, and it's more secure.
Right. That's another huge one that was just wrapped up in this strategy.
It wasn't part of this, but it's a good way to compensate removing the MDN logging.
Got it.
But we added it to the multi-tenancy invite flow as well. So if somebody invites you to join the account, you can just use your Google or your Apple to sign up.
Right.
You don't have to create a password.
Yeah.
Yeah. Generally, we've always found ourselves like treading this line between security and convenience. Like we have to be security oriented. We're not one of those, low stakes accounts that you have. If you lose access to your US mobile account and somebody's doing, some sort of activity on your account, they can do some damage. They can mess with your line. They can change your plans. They can cancel your service. They can do stuff. So we have to be safe, but at the same time, we want to be convenient too. We don't want you to have to go through a lot of pain to get to, whatever you want to do on your account. So that's always a line that we're treading. And yeah, we've had to make decisions at times where it's like, yo, I'm using this sign in with MDN feature. Why did you guys kill this? And we're like, we kind of had to. It's like it was, it was needed.
Yeah.
In the name of progress.
Right. Right. Cool. So building off of that, what steps were taken to continue giving the users like this very pleasant experience, but all the pain is kind of being shouldered by us on the back end? Can you expand on how we accomplished that?
Yeah, just to show, what each user can do, I'm gonna highlight one of the, the API endpoint. For example, this one. It's like, think about you are a business owner, and you have a pool of like different lines, right? So as you can see on the screen, we have like different roles allowed to perform the action, right? Owner, admin, or contributor, basically. And there are some other endpoint. It's basically only allowed to by owner and admin, and so we're basically just restricting what people can do with the account.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Now that this feature has arrived and users are enjoying the benefit of it, what do you guys see on the next iteration? What can we look forward to as we continue into the future? Now that I feel like, honestly, like we've already done it better than any other carrier, but like, what can we do to take it to that like 110% over the top?
Yeah. So having, multi-user account management, it brings all these new users to us that were previously like, not connected as much with US mobile. They did not get the full US mobile experience. So we really want to first, that's the unlock that we just had. We have all these users coming in onto our platform. We, at this point, we want to continue to making it more convenient for you to share connectivity with people within your network, your friends, your family, your coworkers, anyone that you want to share connectivity with. And we want to build a feature set that, keeps your information secure, keeps everybody independent of each other, and empowers more workflows if you need those, if you need that kind of a functionality. So that's generally the direction that we're moving in.
No specifics yet? No little nuggets you can drop on anyone?
No, we're gonna keep that under the wraps. Coming soon.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, guys, for sitting down with me. This is like really, really brilliant. Before we bounce, why don't we do a demo and show everybody how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. All right, so let's start here in the dashboard with my account. Logged in. Go to my settings page. I see this new users tab up here. Let's click on that. All right, so currently I have one user in my account, which is me. And that's, that's how we operate. One person, one email address, one set of credentials. Now I have the option to invite an additional user on my account. Already, if you saw on my homepage, I already have like several lines on there. So I'm actually managing this whole account for my family and a couple of my friends. So I'm still in that Venmo category. But now, I can invite those folks, and all I have to do is know their email address, know what role I want to assign them. There's 3 to pick from. My role, since I was the person who created the account, my role is the owner, and the new folks that are being added to the account can be added as an admin, a contributor, or a viewer, and they have different levels of access. So yeah, let me add one more person as a contributor, And there we go. As simple as that. The invite has been sent. Now let's hop on to the other side. There I have an email, inviting me to join US Mobile, account created by Abdullah Nabil. So I invited myself. So yeah, the link takes me to this sign up page. I add some more information about myself, just some basic information. Please blur that.
And we also added the Google Apple here, so you don't have to fill in all the form.
Right.
Yeah, so I can choose to either fill my information manually, or I can click on one of these convenient SSO buttons, and it will log me in. So this creates a user for me under the account that I had or that I invited myself from. And so let me sign in as that user. Cool. So now I'm logged in as that additional user. Since I added this user as a contributor, they do not have access to the users tab that I saw previously because, this additional person that I added, I did not want them to have the ability to add or remove more folks to the account. They can only view the lines and interact with them. But they have a certain level of access, which does not allow them to add or remove more people to the account.
And that took like 1 minute.
That took less than a minute.
Fantastic. And it looks beautiful too. It fits in seamlessly with the dashboard we already have. And that was easy as pie.
Easy as a pie.
Cool. Thank you guys so much. This was really brilliant. Y'all should be really proud of yourselves. And congrats on this release. I know it was a long way coming.
Yeah, thank you.
To everyone watching, thank you also for tuning in. Happy connecting, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Great job, guys.